Welcome to the Intuitive Therapist Podcast with Janis R. Cohen, therapist, clairvoyant, empath, and medium. Listen in as she takes a no-nonsense deep dive into real human struggles and how to resolve them. Janis will share channeled information from her spirit guide team, as well as the angels and archangels, to help you master your emotional, physical, financial, and spiritual destiny. And now, Janis R. Cohen.
Hey y'all, this is Janis Cohen, the Intuitive Therapist, here on the Intuitive Therapist Podcast. What do I talk about today? How burned out I feel, how utterly tired I am, how to help you get through something. A recent social media post indirectly inspired today's episode, and once I read it, I actually exhaled pretty deeply. And it resonated with me so much that I let all the tension go in my body. And I felt myself kind of slump, but actually in a very good way. Truth is, the point that I'm at, the burnout, has been building for months now. And even though I go and have fun, and even though I give myself time for self-care, although I could probably do better in that department, I think we all could. And even though I do my best to focus on the positive things in life, and I really am generally a positive person, I affirm what I want to have, and I have hundreds of conversations with God and my daddy in heaven all the time. What I find most often is that I'm holding my breath a lot. And I don't even realize that I'm doing it. And then my body lets me know that I am. And I feel the tension in my neck. The headache comes over me, and I find myself trying to move my head around to loosen up the tension in my neck. And sometimes that works, and sometimes that doesn't. But what I know works is that if I breathe in deeply and then exhale. Can you relate? So this post that I'm referring to has said two words, basically, to sum it up. And the two words were tread lightly. That was the message. Tread lightly. It was what I needed to be reminded of. I needed to be reminded that I, in fact, was not treading lightly. I felt like I've been in a fight with comfort, relaxation, and ease, and that's not typically me. It's not my usual. But I have big plans for myself, a huge vision for my life, and for some stupid reason, I've forgotten how to breathe. I've forgotten how to exhale and allow. Can you relate? So this is what I'm supposed to be talking to you about. Exhaling. Relaxing into things, treading lightly. Can you dig it? Okay, y'all, they just told me to write that down and say that. I have to say, I know it's silly, but it really was to lighten the mood for me and hopefully for you. Tread lightly. It doesn't have to be hard. It was a message that I needed to hear. Life doesn't have to be hard, but we make it hard. Truth is, I know that intellectually. And yet, even though I meditate every day, my body is telling me that I am not, in fact, treading lightly. My steps are heavy. My moves are labored. My breath is labored too, and I'm stressing myself out. Totally the opposite of what I know I need to do for my vision to come to life. Truth is that there is so much going on in the world that it's hard for most people to tread lightly these days. There's always something to go after, to achieve, to do, to be, to have, or to not have. And the pressure that matters most is the pressure we put on ourselves to do, be, and have, or not to have all of that. We're in a constant state of filtering in and out things that we do and don't want. The pressure is what makes the neck tight, the headache come over us, and makes us hold our breath. And we don't even know that we're doing that to ourselves. I was guided to go near water last week. I've been repeatedly guided to go sit in nature and meditate, but because I don't live near the ocean, which is really my happy place, and I will one day, I just settled for going outside for a while, typically kind of walking around and thinking, well, I was in nature today, but not near water. Water's where I needed to be. This day was different, though. The pull to be near water, moving water, was so compelling that I structured my whole day around it. I made sure that I got all the work done that I wanted to get done, and I packed my backpack and the essentials, including my journal, earbuds, water, a towel to sit on, and I headed out the door. I was so excited to take a break from life for a while, not because my life is bad at all, but because I wasn't giving myself what I needed to rejuvenate. I wasn't treading lightly. I needed to be by water. I needed to be in the sun. I needed to hear nature. I needed to feel nature. And I needed to be with God. And I needed to be with my daddy in heaven. Not in heaven, but connected to my Father in heaven. I'm not ready to go just yet. I have too much to do here. But I needed their guidance. I needed the earth underneath me. I needed to exhale. So I went. I parked my car, I put my earbuds in, hooked my backpack around my right shoulder, and I began to walk down the path. All these little rocks, you could hear the rocks crack underneath my feet. And I hadn't been to this particular park, so I wasn't sure where I was going, but I knew that once I was there, Spirit would guide me about the best place to park myself and sit. I settled in, spread my towel down, put on the music I was guided to listen to, inspirational gospel, and I sat down, adjusted my backpack on the ground, and then I wept. It was what I needed. I needed to let go so that I could tread lightly. The music transported me into my direct connection to God and to nature, and the moment was so pure. And I asked the universe to remain undisturbed for those 2 hours. I even instructed the ants and the flying insects around me to stay outside of my protective energetic bubble and to leave me undisturbed. And guess what? All of that happened. I asked God if I needed to get my journal out and write anything down, and I heard, no, you're in doing mode all the time. I just want you to be with me. Your Father's here. Be with us. We'll give you what you need. So for the next 2 hours, I did just that. I sat. I watched the river roll over the rocks in their familiar way. I heard the birds sing. I heard the people walking behind me. I felt the sun on my skin, and I allowed myself to receive. And from that point, I was given the most supportive and loving messages from both God and my daddy. I felt more supported than ever. I felt more free than ever. I was at peace. I began to feel lighter. So I began to realize I could tread lighter. I imagined letting all of the energy of the stress and pressure wash over me and away from me, rolling down the river with all the other debris that it so effortlessly carried with it. It was divine. So divine, in fact, that the photo that I was guided to take not only had a rainbow in it and angels in the clouds, but it had a blue orb that I noticed later as I looked at the photo. And I knew that orb was my daddy. I felt one with the universe. It was nothing short of two of the most glorious hours of my life. I felt relaxed. I could breathe again. I began to tread lightly. It's good to make sure you're exhaling. We hold our breath for so many reasons, and what we need to do is make sure that we let it go just as we do with anything. Because letting go is powerful. Exhaling is powerful. Treading lightly and easily is powerful. I hope you make a conscious effort to exhale. Notice the tension in your body and see how you're holding your breath. Breathe in deeply. Exhale slowly. Breathe in deeply. Exhale slowly. Breathe in deeply. Exhale slowly. And then with each step you take, just tread lightly. You and I both have things on our to-do list and in our hearts to accomplish. We'll get there. Everything works out in divine timing. We'll all get there. Breathe in deeply. Exhale slowly. Tread lightly. And in that process, you'll find, just as I did, the peace that you need to keep moving so that you can tread consistently. I wish you a blessed day, a wonderful week, and as always, live intuitively.
Thanks for listening to The Intuitive Therapist. If you like what you heard, the best compliment you can give us is to share this podcast with a friend. And be sure to give us some stars and a favorable review at Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen in.